Soul is the latest film from Pixar and it's directed by Pete Docter. It stars Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, and it's about a jazz teacher whose life hasn't gone the way he expected it to. He's teaching jazz at a middle school and he wants to be this famous jazz musician. And one day he thinks he's going to catch his big break, and then his body and his soul become separated, and he must try to find his way back to the real world, as that typically happens. So, I didn't know too much about this movie going into it. Like a lot of Pixar movies, they don't really show how much is actually in the movie, in the trailers or anything. So I'm definitely looking forward to it because it reminded me a lot of Inside Out, which is one of my favorite Pixar movies in general, and it seemed like so much in vein of that movie. Obviously, I was hoping to see this movie all the way back in June, but then the pandemic happened, and it is still happening. And it eventually just went on to Disney Plus for free, so no $30 premium, unlike Mulan. And yeah, this movie's really good. I really like it overall. And it's weird because, admittedly, I actually watched this twice before doing this review. The first time, I don't know if I enjoyed it, but now after watching it a second time, it's like I can definitely appreciate it more, and I think that's kind of something that really works about this movie, where it's kind of like how the main character, he kind of goes through this, kind of looks at his own life and kind of like what it actually all meant, and it's like it kind of works in that way, because like you may not appreciate it the first time, but like looking back, it's like, okay, I do appreciate this more upon a second viewing, and I thought that was really good. Overall, like a bunch of Pixar movies, the animation, fantastic. They have a bunch of different styles in this movie, like the typical Pixar style animation. They have 2D animation at various points, and they blend them all in various scenes, and it works surprisingly well in this movie. I was very impressed. Like all these Pixar movies, usually their animation just gets better and better with each new movie. On top of that, there's some scenes where it looks like it's real, like they actually filmed it. Like there's like scenes in the hospital, it's like, wait, that looks animated? Is that real? No, that's animated. It looks incredibly real. Again, Pixar's usually just, killing it with animation in general. It's just getting more and more lifelike, and it's very impressive over the years. On top of that, Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey are really good in this movie. They work together as a team very well. They have great dynamic. And on their own, they're also really good too. Like, Jamie Foxx is really good as this guy who's like, oh, I'm disappointed with the way my life has turned out, and I'm kind of seeing the way my life has been, and like how it's like, it may not be the way I wanted it to be, but, I can still appreciate it in a way. And like his work with Tina Fey is also really good. Tina Fey is the real soul of this movie, no pun intended. She's really funny in this movie. She'll break your heart in this movie, honestly. Her character is really good as well. It's also very funny, like mostly due to Tina Fey overall, who helped co-write the script apparently. Also, the music by Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, John Baptiste from The Late Show. It's also really good, too. I thought it was very inventive, very creative, and it's kind of weird that they go from, like, David Fincher movies to this, and it's like, this is very interesting. Meanwhile, the message is also very interesting as well. How it's like, the message in the movie is like how it's important to just live your life. Who cares if you live up to what you expect it to be? The most important thing is just living life and just living and just being there in the moment more than anything. And I think that was a very, very good message, and the way they handled it is very well done. Also, I thought the story was really unpredictable. Like, again, a lot of the Pixar movies, they don't really show what's in the movie. I was like, okay, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be this type of movie. But it turns out it's actually not, and I'm actually glad that there are a lot of twists and turns throughout this movie where it's like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming, so really glad about that. As far as any issues with the movie, as much as I enjoyed the comedy of this movie, I think it also, as much as I enjoyed there was an issue with my phone for a sec. As much as I enjoyed the comedy in this movie, I also didn't really care for some of it. Like, some of it kind of falls flat. Not with Tina Fey, but like in just random moments where it's like, oh, is that supposed to be funny? I guess I didn't laugh. Also, I didn't really care for the villain in this movie. There's a villain who's 2D drawn, I guess, and they're not really that funny. They're kind of just thrown in there. There's really no reason for it to be there. It's like could have been like Inside Out without a villain. Probably would have been a little bit better. But those are mostly nitpicks. Soul is a fantastic Pixar movie. Definitely a movie that's worth watching, rewatching. Really makes you think about your own life. The performances are fantastic. The animation's great. The music's great. Definitely one of the better Pixar movies in recent years. I'll give Soul 3.5 out of 4 stars. See it. So, what's your favorite Pixar movie? Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.